Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a tarot oracle reading and Tattle Tales from the Vector. This is a general or collective reading, so parts may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you and leave the rest. Also, this is a timely reading, so if you're watching it at this time, it is perfect for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then, that may give you further clarity as to your situation now. So before the reading, I just did a short meditation, and I chose the underlying energy for the deck was the world, and this is from the for the underlying energy for the entire reading, and from the tarot. And so this is talking about at the end, the completion of a cycle. The Fool goes on his journey at the 0 point, and this is card number 21, the world. When we get to the world, when that card shows up, it's saying, okay, you've learned everything that you can from this. You know, congratulations on achieving your goal, and it's time to take what you have learned and go on another cycle. And we have, from the tarot, or from my oracle, we have Tales from the Vector. We have card number 44, Deception. And this is talking about, the deception. It's really the deception that there's a lot of times people have the opinion that there's a war between men and women. I don't think there's a war between men and women. Most men and women enjoy each other's company and the differences between men and women. And I feel that this is more, sometimes, yes, we can have deceptions in our significant other relationships, but that's more, that's just part of life, basically. Sometimes that kind of shift happens. But to say that there's a lot of very happy people out there that are happy to be with each other. So I feel that sometimes we hear about all the problems instead of all the joys of being together. And so this is actually an ink drawing that I did for this oracle, and this is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. I was in Peru, and I was in ceremony with shamans, and this was one of the drawings. It's an ink drawing, actually, that is reproduced on canvas, but this was sort of talking about that energy of how beautiful love is actually between men and women. And also the frog here, they say, if you kiss a frog, it may turn into a prince. But this is actually the Cambo or Sapo frog, which is a lot of shamans use in their ceremonies. So this was quite, I like this painting. It's talking about, yes, you could kiss a frog and turn a frog into a prince, but you could kiss a prince and turn him into a frog too. Depends on how you get along. And how suitable that we have the first card out is the Knight in Shining Armor coming to rescue the damsel in distress. And so it worked. And this is talking about the Knight in Shining Armor that we read about in the romance novels, coming in with a cup of love. And he's addressed to the nines, and his offer of love is usually very solid. And this usually does represent if you do want some romantic love in your life. If you already have a partner, sometimes it can mean that you have there's going to be, there's ups and downs in relationships, and that this is going to be moving into a time where you become closer. So, and if not, if this is a new person, that, when you kiss that frog, it actually worked. And they're on their way. All right, and that is, this next card up is the Strength card, and this is talking, this young woman is reaching into this grown adult lion's mouth. This would be a very scary thing to do, but you see the infinity symbol above her head here. That's representing 100% infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. And she wants to reach that, and she knows to be able to do so, she has to reach deep into her fears, to be able to overcome anything that's holding her back from really loving, fully and living life fully and loving life and loving to explore and have new adventures. So she is, that's what this lion represents. It's a full-grown male lion. This would be very dangerous to stick your hand down a full-grown male lion's mouth, but she's doing it and he's being submissive because he understands that she means business. She wants to reach that infinite potential. And we have the Page of Swords here, and the Page of Swords is talking about the energy of information coming in as well. And the pages would work for the king and queen very early in life, around 7 to 14. You might think, whoa, that's really young, but consider that the lifespan was about half of what it is back then. So people worked much earlier. And this would be a real coup for someone to be chosen to work for the king and the queen and, be dressed in finery and be educated and learn the ways of the elite. And as they, grew up, they would be given more and more responsibilities. And perhaps by the time they were 21, they might even be considered for knighthood. And, if they could afford their own horse. And so this energy is talking about some information, communication coming in. This time it's about, this is representing the element of air. And so this is thoughts. This is representing the swords, represent mental intelligence and discipline of the mind. This is the only page that is looking away from his element. He's looking away because he already knows the logical question and he wants to think outside the box and use his intuition. The sword is double-edged. One edge is your logic, on the other edge is your intuition. And so this is about sometimes a breath of fresh air, like a new thought coming in, a new way of thinking. This can also represent that, when you have an aha moment and you've been thinking about something and then all of a sudden you haven't been thinking about it for a couple of days and then it hits you. Aha, I know exactly what I need to do. It's that sort of energy. Or it could be communication that's coming in from the many ways that we can communicate these days. In the old days, this would always be a male in person, but nowadays this very definitely could be a female. And we have so many forms of communication. So you don't have to expect like a page or a knight to show up on a horse or, this is more likely to be a phone call, a text message. Perhaps it's something that comes in the mail, documents, etc. This can sometimes also be an email, or maybe you're on social media on one of the many platforms. You message someone, they message you. Or maybe you see an event posted there, or you watch a video and you're just like, wow, that's exactly what I needed to know to be able to move forward. It's also a really good idea to take an eye on just 5 minutes a day, find out what's going on at the top of the pyramid, because for sure whatever's happening with the elites is definitely going to affect everybody in the pyramid below. And believe it or not, we do also have an effect on them above. As above, so below. And so this is some sort of communication coming in. Remember that all of the characters in tarot are archetypes. So they're not gender specific. They're talking about masculine and feminine energies. So as I said, in the old days, the knights would always be male. But these days definitely could be a woman in her masculine energy. And this could be a male in his feminine energy. So let's see, we have communication coming in about love, and we have communication coming in about some sort of new way of thinking. Sometimes this can talk about a private eye detective or investigations, technology. We do have Mercury just went in retrograde 2 days ago. So communication, remember, could be a little skewy, but it could and it could not. We do have the Fool, and the Fool is going out. So this is talking about starting a new journey here. And I feel like this energy here is before we start a new energy. So maybe you learned about love, you had the courage to dig deep to be able to do so, And now you've reached an epiphany about it. So now you're ready to go on a new cycle. And I feel like maybe you're healing some energy, or you run into this first off. Let's see, because this is the shift disturber. So out of the frying pan into the fire. We'll see. The shift disturber is a walking contradiction. We have 2 swords planted here, and then he's got 5 in his arms. He's been showing up a lot in the readings in the last couple of weeks. This is talking, like, we can't really figure out what he's doing. Like, why did he leave 2 behind and take 5? And he's got these bright red boots and this bright red cap, and he's tiptoeing around in broad daylight, like a thief in the night. But he's not a thief in the night. It's broad daylight. So sometimes this card can represent, this could represent intellectual material, because the swords represent our thoughts. And so it could be patents as well. And sometimes this could represent someone who's a paper pusher, and he's sitting at his desk and he's pushing paper, but perhaps he's engaging in white-collar crime, such as forgery or counterfeit, or identity theft, possibly. This could represent a bazillion different scams, that type of energy. So he appears to be doing his job at the desk, so you can't really, people are saying, oh, Joe's a great worker. He's such a good employee. He shows up early for work, and then he leaves late. And, he comes back from lunch and he's all refreshed and ready to go. And so, the thing about Joe, and I'm not, this is the only Joe I know, is that he is on tiptoes, and he is moving forward, but looking backward. And what bothers me about this card is, like, this could be maybe just a trickster energy, someone that, has a weird sense of humor or something. But look at how he's carrying these swords. These swords are like very sharp. Have you ever seen anyone carry swords like this? If you have, put it in the comment below. I'd like to know. Because this is very dangerous, especially when you're not looking where you're going. If he falls, he could really damage himself. So if he's this dangerous with his own energy, how careful do you think he's going to be with someone else's? So we reserve our judgment on this card, but we'll wait and see what comes up after here. We have the 3 of Pentacles. So the 3 of Pentacles energy is saying you're on a new journey. You're in an elevated position. You just were successful coming off the old journey here. And you have... you're in an elevated position here because you're on this bench, and people are coming to see your good work. This is saying a lot of people have heard, hey, this person's really successful. They've done, they've been really putting a lot of thought into their career here, and they do admirable work, and these people want to collaborate. Now, this energy quite often represents people in the entertainment industry. It's kind of one of those things where, anyone can carve into stone, but not everyone can carve into stone and have anyone want to pay for it. So it's talking about having special skills, like artistic skills quite often. Like this would be actors, actresses, musicians, comedians as coming up, like people who are talented and can go out and entertain people, and people are wanting to collaborate with them and sign them up for, to do that. Also, this can represent very talented athletes. And maybe these are people coming and offering scholarships to a university or college, or possibly this could be representing, that you're already at the university or college and you're actually making it. Someone wants you to come try out for their pro team. So this is like really, really good energy, but there's a warning that comes with it. It's saying that you need to be very careful, especially when you are in an elevated position here, that any contracts you sign and any agreements you make are on the up and up. So you really, it is well worth your while to find a lawyer who specializes in these kinds of contracts to make sure that whatever, that there's no loopholes or clauses, in the in the contracts that would be not wanting you, that you don't want to have in a lifestyle. And the danger is that sometimes these are also secret society energies, and secret society energies are not interested in the individual. They're interested, what can the individual do for the group, for their society. And quite often they'll rule over certain industries. So you have to be really, really careful, because you can end up, for instance, they might sign you up and then you didn't read the fine print, and they're saying, well, now I hope you enjoy, being a country music musician. And you were saying, country music? I'm a rock and roll star. And they're like, well, you used to be now, and you hate country music. So it's like, oh, and you signed the contract, you didn't see that fine print. So this is, always read the fine print, basically, and be careful. Know who you're getting, well, I was going to say getting into bed with. And so maybe you did get into bed with someone, or you're about to if you're not careful here. And that would be a shame, because you're starting your new journey. Directly, careful who you're getting into bed with. This energy also sometimes can represent the 7-year itch. This is someone that, they've done statistically, they've found that people, if they are about to get divorced, it's usually in the first year of marriage, which I found really interesting. I had no idea. Some people learn faster than others. I'm just joking. But this is talking about the 7, or then the next most usual time is the 7th or 8th year. And this is saying that, a lot of times between the 7th and 8th year, and so they call it the 7-year itch, when there could be an energy of a third-party energy here, that maybe, or this person isn't really, who they say. Maybe when Joe goes for lunch, he's having a tryst with someone, and that's what's happening. And so a lot of times marriages will break up after 7 years. That's why they call it the 7-year itch. And it also can happen that in real estate, a lot of times when people purchase homes, I guess they find that after the 7th year, people quite often will be like, okay, I'm ready to sell. Or in cycles of 7. And then we also have it happens also in businesses. Like someone could even have a really successful business, and your partner walks in and says, you know what, I'm tired of doing this, I'm leaving, and leaving you to deal with it, right? And so this card is sometimes representing that type of energy also. So this is a warning to make sure that you don't get deceived by anything here. Remember, the underlying energy of this reading is deception, and making sure you take what you learn with you. Okay, and yeah, because this is like this could put you in a mental prison, or it has put you in a mental prison. This could be talking about the past, and that's why you've had to dig so deep. Someone came in with a love offer, and it turned out to be not what you thought it was. So you started this new cycle, and this is what happened. It could be that, or this, I feel, was the ending of whatever. You were really successful, and then you run into this person, and they are not who you thought they were. Because now we have this energy, but this is really interesting because it's not just the one person. We have this energy of 8 swords here. So the 8 of swords, we have 7 behind her, and we have 1 in front. And we have 7 swords here, and then we have 1 in front. So this can be talking about walking away. Maybe the new cycle is walking away from this energy, or they walk away from you, and then it leaves you in a pickle, like you have something that you have to deal with. So we have, in the beginning of this, I feel there was way more water, but she's now stepping on dry land with her right foot. So she's getting ready to move forward. She feels duty bound by something. And quite often this is because you have love for the people that are involved in whatever this mental prison is about. And, I feel like in the beginning, there was way more water. Water in tarot represents emotion. And she has 7 thoughts that she's got behind her now that she's managed to get through. And, she's ready to move forward with this one thought. Okay, this is the action that I'm going to take. Her left foot is still in a puddle, but it's shallow water now. A lot of it has dissipated. But you notice in the background, she's leaving her castle behind. It's behind her. And sometimes these swords can represent the thoughts of other people behind her back. But she's ready to, free herself from this energy, this mental prison, and take the blindfold off and take action, because there's nothing holding her back really here but herself and her thoughts. And then we get on the destined path. So I feel this is talking about that you start going on this new journey once you realize that, okay, you need to leave this energy and you need to get on your destined path. That makes sense. So you've learned everything you can from this energy. And this is when something happened, though, with this information that comes in. You have an epiphany of some sort and you realize, you know what? I'm not enjoying this. And as much as I love this person, maybe I'm not up for this anymore, and moving forward with this one thought. Okay, I'm ready to get on my chariot and I'm ready to get on my designated path, the one that God had planned for me. This is really having the courage to face all that and do it and dig deep within yourself to say, okay, what do I need to change about myself? What do I need to change about my circumstances? You might have to leave a lot. And maybe that's each of these represents, okay, I'm going to have to leave my castle. I'm going to have to leave my family. I'm going to have to leave my lover. Now, I'm going to have to go to a new place. I need to find a new career. It could be a lot of things. So, but this is getting on the chariot. And the chariot, once you decide to get on it, you notice here she's leaving the city behind as well. So this is about, okay, and there's no reins needed. Once you're on the chariot and you're on God's plan, on God, the path that God planned for you, then you're moving forward with strength. And that's why there's no reins needed. Now, just in this little bit here, there is some cards here that are showing there could have been something that did happen that was really illegal, because this can sometimes be an investigation, a private eye, or a legal or illegal investigation. Sometimes it can be the energy of a spy, a private eye, technology being used, hidden cameras, hot mics, that type of energy. And then we also have this energy of, well, is this just a walking contradiction, or is this someone that has actually been involved in crime? And we have this energy here of being, this mental prison can actually be an actual prison, and this can be the cavalry coming in, like this is the police coming to arrest or indictments or something like that. Justice is coming through from the spiritual realm down to the physical. So there could be that element of that in here. Yeah, and here we have judgment. So I was picking that there could be judgment coming in from the spiritual realm, and now it's coming down to the physical as well. And this is talking about, I feel like you had to leave the situation before the judgment could be called, so that you could get on your path, and now judgment is being called on this situation. You had to decide to love yourself enough to, and maybe that's what this cup of love here is a cup of love for you, realizing that you love yourself enough not to stay in a relationship that is not good for you. And then this is talking about God's judgment. And so it's coming from the spiritual realm. The angels blowing her trumpet, and the ancestors are woohoo from the other side. They're waving to the descendants across the veil, saying, thank you, finally judgment's being called. They're very happy about this. Now sometimes this could be skeletons coming out of the family closet, and even Pandora's box being opened maybe on a bigger level. And we have, yes, that's the energy right there, the Three of Wands. So this is someone standing on the precipice of change, and quite often, there's ships sailing by, and it looks like that sand, but it's actually water. But God is shining his light, and that's the sun shining light on the water, saying it's time to hop on one of those babies and go on a new adventure. And quite often this card can represent someone taking passionate action. This is the element of fire, and it's talking about wood fuels the fire and causes passionate action. And so this is the sword here. This is, okay, I'm doing it. And this is walking out of a couple and going forward as a single person to distant horizons. You're ready for an adventure, a new adventure, and leaving this cutthroat energy behind. That's the energy I feel. I feel this is what you, where you were. And see, this card is talking about, there was some very cutthroat energy coming towards you, and this is, you had to fight for your freedom here, and maybe they were very surprised that you did put this fight up, because you were like this, but once you realized, oh, what's really going on, that you decided, I'm standing up for myself. I deserve to have a good life. And so this is you taking on two people here, and this is risk energy of people who are willing to risk it all. And you're saying, if you come at me, I'm going to stand up for myself now. And this is talking about outer conflict, but sometimes this card can also be talking about the inner conflict that's happening within. And it can be talking about the three different versions of you with the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind, and them arguing and causing inner conflict, so that you end up, inner conflict will attract outer conflict, and outer conflict creates inner conflict. So it's a vicious cycle that goes on, where that has you like trapped in this mental prison here. And so this is talking about integrating your mind, getting your mind to be quiet through meditation and prayer, and moving forward in a strong way, and being on that path now instead. And here we have, juggling two lifestyles. So I feel like this is like, when you were in this energy, it felt like you were maybe very extremely busy, like multitasking constantly, trying to juggle things, trying to make things work. This is talking, the pentacle energy is talking about health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimension. And, a big part of that is the coin. But, because we need to have money, but this is more than that. It's that lifestyle energy. So this is talking about, you can be so busy that it gains momentum, and it starts off small, but then it gets bigger and bigger, and the problems get bigger and bigger because you're constantly juggling it. And this is talking about juggling your public image, your career, your reputation, with what's happening at home, in your personal goals, and in your domestic life. And that is what we do have a full moon. It was on the 29th, and it is the 3rd, and tomorrow is Independence Day. So happy Independence Day for all my wonderful American neighbors. But this is saying juggle your options, but never juggle your morals. And someone definitely was juggling that. That's what's going on here. And then we have reconciliation. So this card can have a few meanings. Reconciliation would imply that there needs to be forgiveness. Now, could be reconciliation with someone from your past. If it's this person, you be very, very careful. People have a tendency to come back when Mercury's in retrograde, as it is now until July 23rd. It's very common to have people where you have unresolved issues, and you haven't had closure, for those people to come back into your life and ask for another chance. And there can also be an energy sometimes of this energy we're talking here, where you need to heal some inner child wounds. And this card can sometimes be about that. But if there's reconciliation, that would imply that, of course, there needs to be forgiveness and healing of the heart, to be able to reconcile with someone. Sometimes this could just represent a reunion with someone, like you might go to visit family over the summer. A lot of people do. And what better time than to take a bit of time off work when everybody is at work anyway. Like there's a lot of people taking time off during the summer, and we have a Mercury retrograde. It's, you know, sometimes it can be really challenging during Mercury retrograde to get clear communication in business and technology and that, and you know, so, and half the people are gone, so it's that type of energy. This might be a good idea for you. And then we have this energy of these 6 cups. These 6 cups are representing that maybe there needs to be some reconciliation with your childhood. So we have, you know, when you first look at this card, you see 2 children playing with these cups in the yard, and they're full of flowers. But then when you look again, you realize, wait a minute, that's a gnome, and this is a little woman. And from the back, she's a hag, and from the front, she's a young woman. But neither one of them wants these flowers. They don't want to get their hands dirty. And the old hag's like, go away, we don't want your stupid flowers. They're not even yours to give away. The younger woman is being nice, and she's people-pleasing, and she's explaining herself. Well, we have our finery on, and we don't want to get our gloves dirty. And the old hag's like, let's go. And the white flowers in these pots here also represent the flower, like this white flowers in tarot represent innocence. But these aren't innocent, because this is Datra, and Datra is something that, you know, it's from the nightshade family, and if children or pets were to ingest this, they could become very ill. So this is sometimes used by shamans in ceremony, and that ceremony is, they know what they're doing, and it's with adults. But you would never let children play with Datra, and you would never let it near pets, or you wouldn't plant it in pots in your yard when you have children. And the person watching over them is not even a person watching over them, it's a stranger going down the path. So there's a lot of illusions in this card, and it might be saying you might have some illusions from your childhood that are causing inner conflict. That keeps you like in position, like to end up in situations with someone like this. And we have the Emperor coming in. The Emperor to the rescue. The Emperor has been coming in strong in the last few days. This is an energy of someone who wants to get to the bottom of shift. The Emperor is all 4 kings rolled into one person, high level performance. He has his armor underneath his robe. He's ready to take an opportunity if he sees it, and also he will fight for himself for sure. But he rarely gets into these fights at all, because he's an alpha male, and the beta males don't even try him because they know he's going to clean their clock. And this is someone that whatever field he's in, he's very good at it. But quite often this can represent an energy of someone who is in an authority position, and quite often maybe when it has to do with legal matters. So he might be in charge of this investigation and is like, you know, my way or the highway. He can be a little bit that way, very controlling, but generally it's because he's in charge, because he's an alpha male. And then the Wheel of Fortune starts turning for you then after that. So I don't know, this Emperor could be someone that you know from your childhood. Sometimes, you know, this card here can represent that the information that came in, that the epiphany that you had was from a time in your childhood when you were in elementary school, high school, or starting college or university, or it's about or has to do with someone that was from that time frame, and maybe you haven't seen them for a really long time. But I don't feel that this is this person that, I feel that the Emperor is more here to, you know, to straighten this judgment out. Like he's in charge of that, because the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor now. This is saying that good luck is coming your way, and we have 3 wheels on here. There's past, present, and future. syncing together to bring all of this energy and everything you've learned to benefit you now and move you forward. So I feel like that's the new journey, is when you start to really take the steps of action towards cleaning this energy up and getting out of this mental prison. That's when you hop on the chariot, and God, that's when, boom, judgment hits, boom. And you are off on a new adventure. That's how I feel. But this emperor could be someone from your past that is helping you clean up this past. And this is God's plan, and it's sitting right at the top, just for everybody to know who's boss. And this is on these three wheels representing the past, the present, and the future. On one of them are the Hebrew letters for the name of God, and this is talking about a tetragrammaton, which is a sacred geometric symbol representing equalization of all forces and pure order coming in, divine order. Everything is going to be put back into order here. From the bottom going to the top and back down again, we have this cup of love and judgment being called on it. I feel like the knight in shining armor was shiny, but maybe not on the upright. And you're moving into, you're leaving this relationship after all this has happened. You've had the courage to go inward and walk away or move away from it. And the emperor is in charge of making sure that justice is carried out in the 3D. The Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor. This could be, the emperor could be someone from your past, or someone that you, it doesn't have to necessarily be from your childhood, but it would be someone you haven't seen maybe 7 years, 14 years, 21 years. If it's not someone from your past, that might be a clue for you. And this is about someone was juggling their morals. And it could have had, there could be all sorts of groups here that are involved in this energy. It's not uncommon. So, there was some deception here, but that doesn't mean that all men and women are at war with each other. And so you need to, that's, I feel like what it's saying. You might have gone through a lot here, but now you've learned a lot too. And, just because this happened doesn't mean that all men or all women are that way. And we all deserve to have love in our life. I'm going to clarify with my oracle. And let's just see. If you're leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy, your likes, your comments, your shares, subscribes, all of that. I really, really appreciate it. And we have... the numbers on these cards are representing the paintings as they are in the gallery of my website. This is Tales from the Vector, and it's talesfromthevector.com. The numbers here are how they are in the gallery, but I will put them below in the order they come up here so that you can take a look at them if you choose. So we have the karmic space of ego, like a bat out of hell. Yeah, you want to keep your ego in check. Clearly, this is someone that was more interested in their own interests than in love, and presented themselves in an inaccurate way. We have lack of awareness. Never underestimate the power of willful ignorance. It causes a lot of missed opportunities, because if you're with someone like this and they really don't love you, but they just want something from you, it takes a lot of your time up, and then all the healing that you need to do after that. You miss out on a lot of what you could have had. And when it comes to matters of love, I've come to the conclusion that love is blind. It's not just a saying. That's when, it's like you don't want to see someone that you care about that much to be in a bad light like that. So dissension, if it was third-party energy, this is the hard part sometimes, is that it wasn't the deceptions just of your partner maybe, but it could have been dissension with friends. And with friends like this, who needs enemies? You're swimming with sharks. So there was people in your inner circle involved, and they were working together with this energy in some way. And then we have, they had foolish expectations that this was going to work and they were going to get what God had planned for you. But expectations always create limitations, and they're finding that out now. And we have perception. Yes, someone thought the grass was greener on the other side. Now they're finding out it's fake. But by this time, look how much damage has been done. But you jumped on the cherry and said, I'm going to go on a new adventure, and judgment is, boom, going to come down. I can feel like a heavy foot. And then we have another karmic space being cleared. This is attachment. Yeah, we can fall into that space. If we get attached to someone or something, we can end up, falling into a lot of other karmic spaces and using tactics to stay there because we're attached to it. And so the saying on this is, what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. That doesn't sound very fair. And we also have pride. So you're at least, this is saying you've cleared a lot of karma. And so no wonder your ancestors are happy, because it's clearing the energy, not just for you, but for unfinished business maybe that they had. And the clearing it for the bloodline so that the descendants are free of it. You're breaking a cycle. And so this is talking about having pride. A lot of times people do things out of pride, and it's kind of like you just don't want to admit that you were that wrong, basically, a lot of the time. So if, they say pride before the fall, and the thing is about pride is then it puts you in like the need to be right. We don't have that up here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came up. At the top we have the sun. So it's saying that this is God's plan, and this is God saying, I said what I said. You deserve to have this love. You've cleared a lot of karma. You've done your best to straighten this out. Let me take it from here. I've sent the Emperor in for you, and maybe this is going to be a cup of love for you. Who knows? Maybe the Emperor turns out to be someone that you decide to go on an adventure with, because it's sitting right here. All right. I like happy endings. So, yeah, but when the sun card does show up, it does say that there is a happy ending and that the light is shone on the entire reading. I do hope you've enjoyed this, and happy Independence Day. It's one of my favorite holidays, even though I'm Canadian. All right. Thank you for your time and energy, your likes, comments, shares, subscribes. I really appreciate them all, and I'm honored when you do subscribe. Bye for now.